Hi everyone, my name is Dan Crespo and today I will be presenting on cryptocurrencies. To begin, I would like to provide an overview of what we will be reviewing. First, we will go over a brief history of how cryptocurrencies came about. Next, we will define what cryptocurrencies are. Then we'll get into how they work. We will then review the benefits of cryptocurrencies and the associated risks. And finally, I will provide a few questions for discussion. A little bit about the history of cryptocurrencies. The first crypto created was Bitcoin, and it rolled out in 2009. It was developed by Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, no one really knows who this Satoshi character is. They're not even sure if this is a person, entity, or a company. But Nakamoto created Bitcoin through the first ever blockchain database in an attempt to develop a new electronic cash system for peer-to-peer use, similar to a peer-to-peer file sharing system. Nakamoto's goal was to decentralize this new system so that transactions no longer relied on another party, like an e-merchant or bank, that constrains the use of the dollar in a centralized system. Ultimately, Bitcoin was a huge success, and since 2009, over 1,390 cryptos have been created, and the list is still growing. Now, I'm sure that everyone has heard of Bitcoin. There's a lot of hype in the news right now of people investing in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And these people are making a lot of money in these crypto futures market. But this isn't really the intended purpose of cryptocurrencies. So what exactly are they? Well, cryptocurrencies can best be described as digital or virtual currencies that are used for trade or can be exchanged over the internet between two parties. I've come to learn that they're also called cryptos for short. So as a virtual currency, they're like using your debit card when buying something over the internet, or similar to the PayPal payment method in e-commerce. So instead of using a dollar bill for the purchase, you'd be using a Bitcoin or some other crypto. Now let's look a little closer at some of the key characteristics of cryptocurrencies and what makes them work. I mentioned before that Satoshi Nakamoto was the first ever to create a blockchain when Bitcoin was created. Well, blockchain is the technology that creates cryptocurrencies and makes the exchange of cryptos possible. The best way that I can describe blockchain is that it is like a network of several general ledgers that are updated, maintained, and used to validate whenever there is a new transaction on an exchange market or new cryptocurrencies are created through mining. However, the depiction on this slide demonstrates a very high level of how that blockchain works. When a new transaction occurs, it is sent out to the peer-to-peer network to be validated. This validation process is actually an algorithmic equation that is solved by using a set of numerical keys. Miners are the peer-to-peer network, and they are the ones who solve these equations. Once solved or validated, a new block is added to the chain, completing the transaction, and hence the name blockchain. The more the crypto is exchanged, the more blocks that are added to the chain. People are hesitant to buy into cryptocurrencies partly because virtual money seems to be made up. They perceive crypto like it's floating around somewhere in the cloud and that anyone can just come and take it as they please. Well, the part of the blockchain that secures cryptos is called cryptography, which is a cryptographic algorithm to assure funds are only spent by the rightful owners. For example, Bitcoin is secured using an algorithm called Elliptic Curve Digital Signature Algorithm, or ECDSA. The algorithm works by applying two parts to an equation to solve for authenticity: a private key that only the owner possesses, and a public key that is issued to the public whenever a new block is created. So each time a transaction or mining takes place, both a private key and a public key are created and are added to the new blockchain. These keys are a random set of numbers that identify the transaction and specify the date, type, and amount issued. Simply put, it's like a new accounting entry posting to the general ledger. During the validation process, the miners attempt to solve the algorithm using these keys beginning when an owner gives signature authority to their private key, essentially giving permission to make a transaction. Validation can only occur if the signature can match the public key that was posted to the general ledger. When validation is completed, the signature is mathematically generated with what is called a hash and is added to the blockchain. Rather than being bought on an exchange, cryptos can also be acquired through mining. With enough electricity, computational power, software, and hardware, crypto can literally be created through the peer-to-peer validation process, which is the solving of the highly involved algorithmic problems. So mining serves two important roles: creating more Bitcoin and validating other blockchains. The network of miners is what keeps the system going. Miners also have to put new blocks in order on the chain so that there isn't overspending or double charges, and they do so by using algorithmic hash functions. Bitcoin uses SHA-256, or Secure Hash Algorithm 256-bit. Whichever miner solves the algorithm first adds to the blockchain and generates a new math problem. Because mining can be costly, necessitating special hardware and software to solve the math problems, not to mention the enormous energy bill, miners are rewarded for solving the problems by receiving Bitcoin and are tipped a small amount for each transaction that they can add to the ledger. These rewards will diminish as more blockchain are added. Eventually they will run out, much like mining diamond or gold. The diminishing progress of Bitcoin is mirrored off of the rate at which gold is diminishing and restricts the amount of Bitcoin possible in an attempt to hold their value. Once acquired, crypto can be stored a number of ways. Two of the most common storage methods are either on your desktop or device, or stored on a hard drive, much like a thumb drive. When storing cryptos through software on a desktop or device, the storage method is referred to as a soft wallet or a hot wallet. Some of the more popular soft wallets are Coinbase, an app that allows you to exchange and store crypto all in one place, kind of like a checking account. Exodus and Dash, software that allow you to move cryptos from an exchange market to remotely store on your desktop. And then Ledger, a popular hard wallet, is also called a cold wallet because it allows you the remote storage of cryptos out on a hard drive, kind of like a savings account would work. Though there are benefits in the futures exchange market, where people are investing in cryptocurrencies hoping to earn a quick buck, there are more important benefits to the technology. Because cryptos are decentralized, exchanging between two parties means there is no middleman. Peer-to-peer trade is much easier than trying to process a transaction through a company or a bank. And cryptos are not subject to any interest rates or liable to fees like dealing with a company like PayPal. This means that transactions are much faster. Think about the ease of making a trade with another country, and there are no exchange rates or fees. Cryptocurrencies can also be programmable and are easily adaptable. Blockchain doesn't even have to be a currency. It could just be some information that is passed along via the network of general ledgers. For example, companies can use cryptocurrencies for expenses and payroll by programming budgets to individualize cryptocurrencies. This would only allow that currency to be spent on that expensed account. Some of the risks that involve, like I mentioned earlier, is the storage use of hardware and software wallets. Storage type is what makes them susceptible to theft, simply because all that needs to be sold is the encryption codes or your private keys. Hot wallets in particular are risky because these wallets are linked to the internet, while hard wallets are not. If a hacker can get past a hot wallet service security, like cracking the Coinbase app, then you could be at risk. It's also risky to leave your cryptocurrencies in the digital asset exchanges where you've purchased or traded for them. Storing crypto on exchange markets is a very bad idea because they're easy targets for hackers. For cryptocurrency benefits to work, there needs to be trust, which at the moment, due to risks that are involved, is very little. If no one can trust the technology, then these cryptocurrencies will never be used as what they were intended for, and then essentially become worthless. I I hope everyone enjoyed my presentation. Here are a few questions that I thought could get the conversation going in this week's discussion. Please let me know your thoughts. Do any of you have any experience buying or selling cryptocurrencies in exchange markets? What are your thoughts on the risks associated with cryptocurrencies in the market, or security in general? How do you feel about the future of cryptocurrencies? Are they just a fad, or will they be useful in the future? Finally, here are my references that I used for my presentation. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to this week's discussion.